Okay, I'm going to pin together a model from Die Hard Miniatures, which is one of their recent robots that they released on a Kickstarter, and I'm just going to slowly work through that. So there we go, there's the model. As you can see, it's in 5 pieces. We have a sort of body there. Just get rid of that bag. We've got a body, we have a couple of legs there, and some weaponry, there's a big gun and some grabby claws. Now this model's the legs attached to the top of the body, and the guns kind of hang down underneath. And I'm going to pin it and just show you how to do some simple modelling. But first up, we need to have a look at these. Now, my eyes are terrible, so I'm going to pick pieces up and look at them closely. But I can see one already. We've got a little bit of flash and little runners from the casting process. Just pulled one off by accident, but there's another one there, and we've got to remove those. And then I'm going to have a good close look for mould lines. And I don't know about you, but I'm in my 50s now. My eyes are terrible. I can't see a damn thing. So what I find is I miss mould lines, and then find them during painting. So what I have to do is there's a little bit of flash there by the looks of things as well. If you can see that little bit just there. Okay, so I'm going to be picking these pieces up, going over them closely, and using my branded scraper, expensive but a really good scraper. I'm going to get rid of them. I'm going to take my glasses off so that I can see up close. And all I'm doing is going around and just scraping, but I have to hold them really close to my eyes because I've only got a focal distance of about 10 centimeters. I'm also going to need a little scalpel there as well, so I'm going to be using that, and I'm just going to sit and cut bits off. And you'll see I've got switching from cutting to gentle scraping, where I've got a little thin mould line that I want to get rid of. Certainly if you start shading your models, then you're going to very, very rapidly pick up mould lines and make them visible. There's a little bit just there I want to get off. See if I can. Oh, it's going to have to focus. You see how that's hard to focus? That's basically how my eyes are all the time. So this is my new camera, which is actually probably better off using my phone actually, because this one's got an autofocus on it, which is probably fine for Teams meetings and gaming and such, but it might be less useful for this. Well, I'm experimenting to see what works best, and we shall see. I don't mind getting things wrong. Never minded getting things wrong, as long as I learn from my mistakes. So that one's pretty clean. Let's have a look at this body. Really like these models from Die Hard. There's a bit of work needs doing to tidy up that little antenna thing there. That needs a little bit of clean up on it. But these models aren't bad. They're not bad at all. They're pretty clean. And then there's a very thin mould line just running across here. You're always going to get mould lines with traditionally spun cast miniatures. So these are some fairly basic skills that you know, I guess all modelers are pretty good with. And as I say, I've got terrible eyes, so I always miss them. So you can probably see things, assuming that autofocus is kicking in, and you're getting. I can't talk because I ain't got my glasses on anymore. you'll probably see some of these lines and I'll miss them. So these, what I'm also very careful about is there's some lovely detail on these miniatures, and I'm really wary that I don't want to damage that. So there's lots of lovely little scratches and battle damage, and I know Tim Prow, who sculpted and diehards his company, he does put these in as because it's going to be really nice when you paint these up, and I've painted a couple of these up. I'll put some on shop at some point. You can probably see them online on Facebook and the Stargrave site. So just moving on to a leg now, just nicking off a little riser line. These, when I'm talking about runners and risers, they're casting terms, and they're little gaps cut into the mould just to allow air to escape and allow the metal to flow in. And of course, once the area of the mould is full, it goes, the liquid metal goes up the where the air has escaped through up these little risers. Despite working in casting myself, I always get runners and risers mixed up. Oh, I might not pin that. Just looking at that leg, I might just... Oh, I am going to pin it, because these are going to be working models, so the paint jobs that I do on them will be quick. Probably spend about 3 hours on something like this, painting it. And so there's some... Let's just go with there's a line down the middle of the toe there, and because that's an armour plate, that will stick out like a sore thumb once you start painting it. And see, I'm just nicking off these little runners and risers, back of that leg there. Let's just tidy that up. Put my spikes back on. Anything that's got like a mechanical thing with a ball, wide featureless area there, that sort of ball joint there at the top of the leg, it's going to show up, especially when you start painting. So we need to make sure we've got those clean. That other one's not bad. A little bit there. Like I say, I always miss something, and you always find out when you're painting. So a little snip that off there, those little claws. And as I say, when I'm bringing them up, when I bring the miniatures up out of the way, I'm actually bringing it up to my eyes so I can see. So apologies for that, but my vision's terrible. I was incredibly short-sighted as a kid, and then that never got any better, and then I'm short-sighted and long-sighted, so I just can't. I've got one like focal point. It's about 10 centimetres on one eye and about 8 centimetres on the other eye. So I don't work very well together anymore. That's probably not bad. So these are going to fit. This is the front with this sort of eye feature here. There's a little bit of not quite perfection on the mould there. I might drop a little bit of green stuff in to fix that. I'll use it as some battle damage. And the arms are going to go like there. You can see that. And as you can see, it's not a, it's just a little ball and socket, so that you can position as you will. And I'm gonna, and same on the other side there. You've got a bit of room for manoeuvre there. And with the legs, which are going to the top part of the body. There's a little socket just there, a little ball in there, and they just pop in. Now, if you don't pin these, any knot will cause them to fall. There's a lot of mass to an alloy miniature, so any knock or fall, F equals MA, there's more force if it falls over, and a bit of a thump can cause those. If you just glue, it cause them to break. You can see, by the way, the little bits of metal I've cut off. I'll sweep those. If you're working with old-fashioned miniatures with a decent lead content, you want to get rid of all that. You don't want to be messing about with that, and also be washing your hands as well once you've finished modelling, and don't suck your fingers. Alright, because lead poisoning is not good for you. These don't have barely any lead in at all, I shouldn't think. It's all tin and probably antimony or something like that. Not sure. Might have a tiny bit of lead in. I've got a cup of tea, by the way, just there. So, let's show you a pin. I'm going to pin one of these little arms. I'm going to put in this little arm first, because. So what I would normally do is drill out all the joints. So, I've just spotted a bit I missed. Let's have that in there. Just spotted a little bit of sprue that I missed there. I'll just clean that up. See, told you I was going to miss bits, but then again, can't see, can you? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, what I would normally do is drill each of these joints. So I'm going to pick this little right arm. It's going to go in there. Okay, and I'm going to drill it. So the easiest bit is drilling into the socket. So I've got a 1mm drill bit. I'm going to pin it with brass wire, and I'm going to go straight into the middle and the normal. Now, I've not used this as a brand new drill bit that arrived today. It looked very nice. Can you see I'm getting some flash being produced there, little worms of coming out either side, and that means I'm going in. That's actually working. Some of these drill bits you buy them off eBay or Amazon. They're nasty cheap things that take a month to arrive from China, and they some twist, some don't. So you can grind them yourself if you look at the geometry carefully and work out how to make them work, and you've got some decent wet and dry. You can actually grind them so that they do work. And I'm just dry fitting my bit of brass wire. Now you want to go in. Let me show you how far I've gone in, and now I'm going to put my thumb up right against the flat. Now there is a little dent, and that's how much it's gone in. So into you want to go in about 2 or 3 millimeters for something like this. Okay, so effectively I've got a little pin joint there. All right, and now I've got to work out how to do this. Now you'll see that we've got much less material to work with on this little ball to go into the socket there. But actually, that's not too bad. So the first thing I'm going to do there is I don't want to be trying to drill into a ball. That's quite difficult. So I'm going to cut a little flat. I'm just going to cut a little flat. Always cut away from yourself unless you're stupid like me. Come on, pick your focus up. Put my glasses back on for that. You see, I'm not cutting away from myself. It's alright to know what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is stupid. I'm just going to cut a little flat. So I've got a little flat. You see it reflecting light there now on that ball. And now I can drill into that. I've still got some swarf from previous drilling. Just line that up. Now, experienced modelers will know how much fun it is to jam one of these drill bits into your middle finger or thumb, because we've all done it. And the answer to that is that it's much less fun than you might imagine. I've actually gone in slightly off to one side here, which is not so good. I've done a great job of that. And let's just bring it back online. Oops. Okay, we got a grip on that, so I'm just going to tighten that up. And again, you only want to go in a few mil. I think I've got that. All the bits of metal, I'm just going to tidy that up with my scalpel. Yep, so we should have a wee hole there. And I should be able to take my rod. Pop it inside. Okay. Yeah, it's alright. So now, while that's in there, and I kind of know I've got about 3 mil on the other side. I'm going to cut this. I might cut it a little bit long because we can always shorten it, but you can't add 2. You can always take away, but you can't add 2. Now I'm just going to do a dry fit and just see if I like what I've got. Now, with these things, you've always got a little bit of bend on that rod as well. And you know what? I've just spotted a little bit of mould line on there. So I'm just going to clean that up. You see my pins stayed in this main body, eye to the front, right arm. And I can just do that. So, from there, that's pretty good actually, I quite like that. You can do all sorts of things. You can do a bit of bending about that brass rod if you're not quite happy with the position of it, or you can put a bit of milliput in there if you want to, or green stuff, or some similar epoxy putty if you want to tidy that up. But this is the basics. So all I was going to do on there is I've got my Big Potter screw fix super glue, which is I'm just going to drill the end out there so I can get some glue out of there. Should have done all that off camera, shouldn't I? Should have prepared. And what I tend to do is I use my little tin snips as a just to hold the pin, and I'm going to put a tiny little blob of glue straight into the socket. Okay, just like that. That's actually a bit too much. So I'm just going to take a piece of paper. You see I've splurged it. This is what you get for trying to work without your glasses on. And take my pin and just pop it in there. just want to make sure I've got glue on that pin all the way up. A little bit more. Just make sure I've got it on the pin. Take some out of that socket with a piece of paper. And now I can... There. Once I've got it in a position I like or want, I'm just going to hold it until it sets. And that will take a knock. Now, as I say, under normal circumstances, what I'd do is work around and I'd drill all the holes, all the joints, all the limbs, and then fit and glue that. But I figure I can work with one arm on. I certainly won't put one arm on and then another arm and then drill. And you know, I'd do all the drilling first and the positioning first, and make sure I was reasonably happy with everything. So there you go. Modelling basics. I'll knock that off there and then do the rest of the model and show you what it looks like. Okay, and there you have it, my friends. We have our robot. You can see I've made lots of sprue while I've been drilling things out. But there he is. And I think they're lovely models. So there's three. The other, I'm not sure where the styling for this one comes from. I couldn't quite place it, but I'm sure someone will be happy to add a comment in the comments, because I'm not placed. But there's another two robots that they're doing at Die Miniatures. Which I will just show you because I've actually painted those, so I'll just add that. Okay, so there's your man I've just pinned together. I like that. Oh, now it's stuck together. I like it more than I did when I first saw it. I've got a lot of time for that. It's quite a charming miniature. A lot of nice features, lovely detail. Lovely miniatures to work with, minimum clean up, and yeah, I'm really happy with these. Got that to one side. So these are the other two. There's this guy who might seem familiar if you're a fan of comics. There's some definite British 70s, 80s comic styling going on there. And again, lovely miniature to work with and paint. That's the first one I did. He's all battered and mangled. You know what? All these scratches and dints, they're all features and casts on the model. I didn't add those details myself. I just accentuated them with shade. And then there's this boy with a big hammer for a hand, who again you may recognise. Like I said, pretty darn quick paint jobs. Took me about 3 hours each, using contrast paints with a bit of highlighting and some rust and a bit of metal highlights. But very, very charming miniatures. I thought very charismatic, very dynamic, and they're going to be a lot of fun on the table. I'll be using them probably for menacing my wife in Stargrave. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Experimental video. Might lose it, might last, might keep it. I'll see what it looks like. But at the minute, that's my first attempt at a modelling video. Cheers.